Hey guys, this is Charlie with MetalWorks with another update on our 63 Riviera build. So in this video here we've got footage of Tony assembling the LS7 motor and giving it kind of a throwback style reminiscent of what would have been the factory nailhead motor. And then we progress our way through more of the body work on the components and on the main body. And at the end of the video we actually get to spray the very first little bit of color on the part. So that was very exciting to see. And now our next video, we should actually be spraying the main body itself, which is going to be amazing. We're very excited to see that. So let's jump on into it. All right, we can see Tony is getting the LS engine assembled. This is an LS7. See, he's got the oil pan on it. The Holley intake for the fuel injection. A bunch more of the engine components laid out here, from the water pump to the front drive kit. Drive kit starting to come together. You can see Tony's got the engine pretty dialed in here. The intake is just set on here temporarily as we don't have the proper fasteners for it yet. But this is the Holley intake with their adapter to a throttle body, which allows you to have the port injection and then you're pulling your air in through the throttle body. Pretty cool valve covers that hide your coil packs. Here's some of the Riviera parts in the paint booth that have been spot primed, and now they're ready for wet sanding. Lots of little things getting worked on. We got the inner fenders. And your core support. Other smaller pieces like that in the paint booth right now. Radiator cover. Stuff's getting prepped out, getting pretty close to paint. A little bit of spot priming on the hood. Meanwhile, Heath is doing a little more final touches, sanding on the underside of the trunk or deck lid. And the air cleaner is getting some more sanding done to it, inching closer and closer to paint as well. Alright, lots of work happening currently with all the small pieces. They're getting things prepped out that are going to be in the engine bay. All that stuff's going to be going a bit of a satin gray color. So you got your radiator cover, things like the core support. And Trevor's been working on the master cylinder, getting that all media blasted and body worked for paint. Now he's about to start on the radiator here. Alright guys, Heath came in on the weekend and knocked out some of this paint work here for the engine bay. So all the components, everything from your inner fenders to radiators to master cylinder. So these are all finished painted now in this flat, it's like a deep gray color that the engine bay is going to be, which would really look amazing against the accents of the engine and then the body color. So this sheen should look really cool against the glossy components next to it. So pretty exciting to see some final color on some components for the Riviera. So Heath is starting to sand out the body components here in 200. Then he'll be wet sanding in 400 and 600. Then the components here will be ready for paint. He's been working on both of the front fenders today, getting all the little surfaces. Right, he's just going to give us a bit of an overview at where he is in the process on the Riviera bodywork right now.
So what I've done is I've spot primed all the cut throughs and the filler, and I sanded everything with 220. Now we're guide coating it and sanding it with wet sanding it with 400 grit, and we're going to do it again and wet sand it with 600. And it should be ready for sealer.
All right, so this darker is the guide coat you're putting on.
Yep, dark guide coat.
I know a lot of people have inquired about this product.
It's Merca, works great.
Okay, so you wet sand in the 400, then re-guide coat and then wet sand again in the 600.
Yep, the guide coat good in all the scratches, and once you wet sand them all out, then everything's good.
All right, they got the Riviera body in the booth. Heath just sprayed primer on the jambs and firewall and the rear license plate area and anywhere there was like cut throughs and stuff. So we'll just jump in there quick and take a quick peek at that. So you can see this fender has been taken all the way to 600. Now there's just been a little bit of hitting where there was cut throughs. So currently Heath is working on this fender. It was in the same condition. And now he's hitting this with 800 just to get those areas that were spot primed. So after this, it will be ready for paint. And meanwhile, you got Trevor working on this inner fender, getting it taped up for Raptor undercoat. This inner fender is already prepped and ready to go. Okay, so this is the deck lid. What grit are you using here?
This is 320.
320. So how many more steps does this have to go through?
So after 320, we'll do a fine pad, a super fine pad, and then if there's any cut throughs, we'll get the cut throughs, and then we'll use 800 on it, and it'll be ready to seal and paint.
All right, the front fenders are done. Now Heath moved on to one of the doors. All right, I see wet sanding. What are we doing here?
So we are going over the whole thing with 400 grit and then 600 grit. All the scratches out, making it smooth.
So then next step is paint.
Next step is seal it and paint it.
Awesome.
He can make anything work, but we wouldn't let him touch anything that's shot. Anybody can see those, so he wasn't real pretty about it.
Okay, pretty exciting. Getting to see the very first little bit of color on parts for the Riviera. So here we got the inner doors and then the bottom side, the deck lid that Heath has got in the first coat of base. All right, Heath is prepping to put down the third coat of base coat. And here we go. Got the first bit of color on the doors of the Riviera. It's pretty amazing how much the paint really changes tones with light. Then you can see the underside of the deck lid is going to remain in a satin. Alright guys, that's where things stand on the Riviera build. Make sure you check back for our next video. Again, we're going to be actually spraying the main body. That should be really awesome to check out. So again, thanks for stopping by. We'll talk to you guys again real soon. Take care.